Well, it's 3 p.m. already, so we should get started. Let's switch to the camera in here. Oh, it's bogus already. So, hi, welcome to the Untitled WebDev stream. My name is Lucas, and in today's episode, we will be focusing on progressive web apps. This is kind of like a new standard on web development. It's not super new. I talked already about this like 2 years ago in a talk about web development in my hometown. But today I want to just refresh that for people that didn't hear about that, or they weren't like Spanish speakers, so they weren't aware about that talk I gave, or they just want to learn about it. So I will be using a similar presentation to the one I used in that talk a few years back to like show you like a little bit about like the general history and like the origin of progressive web apps and stuff like that, and what's the impact and so on and so forth. And after I show that presentation, I will be basically taking the web app we already have, the React app with the login, and turning that into a progressive web app. I will be showing you like how easy it is to do that, so you can do that yourself. But yeah, let's just like open. I need to put the presentation in here and switch to the desktop. So I might remove myself from the screen at some point because I think that I'm blocking some of the like the text in the presentation. But yeah, the idea today is to talk about progressive web apps. This is generally abbreviated as PWA, so that's like the logo they have. This was pushed initially by Google, but now is supported by a lot of browsers. I will be talking about that really soon. But yeah, let's go ahead. This talk, or this small presentation I will be giving you before going into how to do that with your web app. Let's remove the camera from the screen for now because I'm blocking it. So I will be talking a little bit about the general history of progressive web apps. Then I will be giving you an intro on how they behave and what are they. What are the requirements in order to you to create your own progressive web app or turn your current application into a progressive web app. The support this has on browsers and the impact it has in general, like development, in web development. So yeah, let's go ahead and switch to a long time ago in an internet far, far away. Please, Disney, don't like block this video later. It's just like I use the skin like for Star Wars, but it's not like I'm violating any kind of copyrights or anything. But yeah, so we had at the beginning of web development, or like when it started growing, we had the PHP menace. So PHP and MySQL were like the most basic things you needed to learn in order to start working with web development, right? So basically you wrote all your code, your HTML code or whatever, embedded together with PHP, and all the data was saved into MySQL databases or stuff like that, and you needed to learn both of those in order to start working web development, right? So everything happened on the back end, and the front end was like really disgusting in general. It just served as a way of showing the data that was on the back end, but everything came from the back end, right? Not only that, but like all the browsers at that point, let's say like Firefox, Opera, Internet Explorer, Chrome, like Chrome appeared like a little bit later. But yeah, the browsers that were popular at the time had like really different implementations of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So every time you needed to do something for like the web, you needed to try to figure out how to make it work for every browser out there. So for example, maybe your website worked on Internet Explorer, but it was super broken on Firefox or on Safari or stuff like that, right? So that's why this slide has that joke of browser factions in conflict, basically because it was really difficult to actually try to develop something for the web. And the two things that were super used on the front end were both jQuery and Flash, mainly because jQuery was like some kind of like common language that allows us to like create stuff for the web, and it worked everywhere. So you could like write like a little website with jQuery and it will work the same for all browsers. So it was like a library with utils on it that make our lives as developers easier. Also, we had Flash at the time, that it was like an extension that you needed to install in your browser. Some of you might remember like Flash games and stuff like that, but basically Flash allowed the developer to also have some kind of like sandbox, a place where they could like develop something and it will look the same on all browsers as well, right? So after this, so in a short time ago, in an internet far better, we had this other movie called A New Hope, A New Web. So in it, PHP was like is like falling behind this new, let's say like new engine for backend called Node. And Node, as I show you like in previous streams, is basically just JavaScript in the server side. So it's amazing because basically it allows you to have the same language in both the front end and backend, right? So backend now like at this point starts working mainly as a way of providing data. So like the data that is saving to the databases, like for example, I don't know, like user information or login information and stuff like that. And also what is called CMS or content management systems. Basically the backend is the one that saves images, videos, audio and stuff like that. So it only saves files and data. Everything else is handled by the front end, right? So the web is more like an app thanks to this, because like the browsers are now more in peace. So basically if you do something that works on Firefox, it's probable that it will work also on Microsoft Edge or on Chrome or on any other browsers, because like the compatibility was like is like really high right now. It's not 100%. There are some edge cases yet, but it's like far better. Vanilla JavaScript, as you might recall of previous streams, vanilla JavaScript is basically JavaScript without any kind of framework or library, right? Just the JavaScript that comes with the browser. But that JavaScript is every day better. At the beginning, it was like it didn't have any kind of like methods or utils that were actually useful. You needed to use stuff like jQuery to achieve that. But now you can like traverse the DOM or use like handle like HTML requests and stuff like that just with JavaScript without any kind of framework or library. It's still harder than using a library, but still like vanilla JavaScript is super powerful. And at this point also you have a thing called Cordova and Electron, and those two are, Cordova is a thing that basically takes your HTML, JavaScript and CSS and turns it into a native app for mobile. So for example, you create a website and you make that website through Cordova, like let's say like an iOS or an Android web app, right? Like a native app, okay? And then you have Electron, and Electron is basically the same but for desktop. So basically you write your code, your HTML, CSS and JavaScript code, and that's transformed into a native app for the desktop in Windows, OS X and Linux, okay? So the next step is the one that gave today's presentation slash stream the title. So currently on the internet we have the progressive web apps, okay? So progressive web apps, as the previous shown, is just the next step in this evolution of the web development, right? So basically, let's turn it back for a second. It allows us to create something like this, okay? So we have this website, this is an example of a progressive web app, okay, that is called Voice Memos. Basically, this web app is just JavaScript HTML and CSS, but it allows us as users to save audio memos. So you can press this plus button that you can see in here on the bottom, and you can start talking. For example, I don't know, like remind myself to buy the groceries or something like that, and then save it, and it will be appearing in like a list in here of all your recordings, right? This is just like, as you can see, this is in the browser of a mobile device, of an Android device, okay, on Chrome in this example. But it's just a website. But as you can see, in here in the bottom, there is like a banner saying add voice memo to home screen. This is not something that this is not CSS directly. This is coming from the browser. The browser itself is offering the user to add this to the home screen, okay? So as soon as the user does a click on that, sorry. Oh, why? Oh, okay, it went like super fast for a second. There. So as soon as you click in there, sorry, we reach this add to home screen model that opens on top of your web app, okay? And you can click on add in here, and that will take like a second. You will see a notification like adding voice memos or adding whatever name of your app is. So let's say, for example, our login app will be adding login app, okay? So as soon as that finishes, it appears on like the app dash of your device. So for example, in here is like the menu that it had, and also when you click on it, it shows this like logo and title of the app for like a second, and then it shows this. So just to see it side by side, we have like the web app that we had at the beginning, and what is my keyboard? Yeah, my keyboard is like kind of bugged right now. Sorry about that. So let's try to move it right. Okay, so there. We have this web app on the left and the app on the right. These two have exactly the same code, but the thing is like the one on the right is already installed as a native app on the device, and the one on the left is not installed yet. The user can use both, so if they don't want to actually install this, they can just use it as a web app. But if they install it, then they have the experience of a native app without having to go to any store like like the Play Store for Google or the App Store for Android, for iOS, okay? So, let's see if I can, yeah. So this same experience can happen on the desktop. So for example, in here is on Windows. I go to voice memo app again, and I can install it as well. So in Chrome, this is not shown in this, but you will see it in like a few minutes when we start working on this. In here on the navigation bar, you will see like a plus button with a text that says install, okay? But it will offer it automatically for the user. So as soon as you click install, then you have it like another like any other native app on Windows. So basically it will be shown on like the start menu of Windows. So for example, in here you can see that I have like, I don't know, Google Keep, Google Play Music, and voice memos. So if you click on that, it will open with like this bar that has the same color of the app or whatever, and it looks like a native app, that like an app that I installed in Windows, but it's actually still a web app, okay? It's still like web code behind that. Now, the same happens in Mac. If you are on like a MacBook or like a Mac, like an Apple device, you can go to the website, and again you will get offered to install this, and as soon as you install it, it will be shown in the dashboard of Mac, and if you click on that, you will get this also this experience of like a native app. I think this was fixed recently. Previously, the top bar, because of limitations on OS X, it didn't show the color, but I think that's fixed now. Maybe not. I don't have like a Mac device right now to test it, but as far as I can remember, this was fixed already. But yeah, yeah. So basically, what are the features of this? Because so far, yeah, that's great. I can show it as a native app, but maybe it doesn't behave as a native app. But that's not the case. The features that progressive web apps have is basically that they work offline. So yeah, I need to go to a website in order to install it first, but once that web app is installed into the device, you don't need to have like an internet connection in order to make it work. So yeah, that's like a good feature, right? The second thing is that it has access to the device hardware. So you can, for example, make turn on the vibration motor if you need to, like, I don't know, do something with that, or maybe turn on the camera and stuff like that. All those access to devices, you might think like that's kind of insecure, or that the user might be scared of like the developer accessing stuff that they don't have to. But the user has to give like explicit permission to that. So if you want to, for example, access the camera, the user will see a prompt asking him or asking her like, hey, do you want to give this app access to your camera? And if they allow it, then you can access the camera. It's not that you have access, like free access to all the hardware, okay? Also, you have native notifications. So for example, you can show like, hey, you have, let's say you create a web app that is actually your blog. You can like send a notifications to the user that they will see like a Twitter notification, for example, but it will say like, there is a new post in the blog, for example, okay? So also if you, I don't know, if you create a social network of sorts similar to Twitter, you can, for example, say like, I don't know, somebody commented on your post or something like that, and you can send a notification like that. And also you have this native app UX. So basically the user experience is similar to the one that you have when you have a native app installed. So all these features are like actually great because you don't need to transform anything. That's still just CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. So you are giving the user a native app experience without having to write a different app just for that. You have exactly the same app and the same experience for both the web consumers and the native app consumers, okay? So this is like, yeah, I have this GIF in there, but yeah, it's kind of impressive, okay? So what are the requirements? Because we need to do something. It's not like as soon as you create your app and you write CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, that works, okay? You need to do some work in order to make that, like to transform it into a progressive web app, okay? So the first thing is that you need to make it secure. So your website needs to be in an HTTPS server. I will not be showing you that today, but I will be I will be showing that maybe in an episode about different tools. There is a tool called Cloudflare. So that's like a CDN. It's a website that basically takes your app and they handle all these kind of like, for example, hackers trying to do a DDoS, like a denial of service of your website, or they deal with the like HTTPS for you and stuff like that. So, and that service is completely free, so you can get access to HTTPS without having to pay anything. But yeah, I will be showing that in like more deeply in another episode. Today I will be showing you mainly like the code part, okay? So the other requirement is that your website needs to be responsive. This means that basically it needs to look good in any kind of screen, because if your idea is to have one app that will have only one code base that will be shown like in mobile devices and on desktop, then it needs to look good in both devices, right? So it needs to be responsive. It needs to respond to the width and the height of the screen, right? So also we need to have what is called service workers. I will be showing you that a little bit. That's what basically allows us to have offline support. So the browser basically works offline, like your web app works offline. You need to have one file that is called Manifesto.json that I will be showing you and telling you how to work with it. And this is not like an actual requirement, but it's something nice to have, and is to run what is called a lighthouse audit. That's basically auditing your code and checking if it has like good quality to be a web app, basically, okay? I will be showing you how to do that as well. But yeah, it's not like an actual requirement. It's not like you need to have a good score in this audit in order to make it work. You can have like a really shitty app and it will still work if you like do the previous steps, okay? So this might be a kind of maybe overwhelming, but it's actually quite simple to implement. And when you see that, like the React example, you will you will understand why I'm saying this is super simple. But well, first off, the service worker, the thing that basically allows us to have offline support. Basically, we have like our website and the network. It will be like the internet. So the first time the user accesses your website, it will go to the internet and just like download it, okay, like a normal website. But then your website will be like informing the browser, like for example Chrome, that we have a service worker. So basically that means that we have a piece of code that will be dealing with all the requests. So for example, if the user wants to now go to another section, instead of going to the internet to access that new section, we can access a cache that we have, so like a sort of like local storage where we save that section, and instead of going to the internet to get that, we just go ahead and render what's saved locally. So with this, we can achieve something that some Google folk had in some really nice stickers, that is killing the dinosaur, okay? So every time, like the first time the user accesses your website, it downloads this service worker, and from then on, every time the user lost the internet connection, maybe they are on a subway or something like that, they will not see the dinosaur game, they will still see your web app and they will be able to interact with it, okay? So that's super important in order to give like an actual native app experience, because native apps like the ones that you install from any store don't have like a dinosaur game. They still keep they still work when you are offline, right? So you need to achieve the same. Now, the Manifesto JSON, this is another thing that I mentioned, is basically a JSON file. I will be showing you this in like in a few minutes with the actual code example, okay? But basically it's a JSON configuration file, like for example the package.json for npm, that has some data about the app. So for example, we have a short name. This will be shown below the icon on your like on the desktop, for example, or on your mobile device. So for example, if your app is called like, I don't know, voice memos by company name, instead of having that as the name, like we have this short name and we just put like voice memos, or maybe just memos, okay? And that is the thing that will be shown below the icon. Then we have this start URL. This start URL is because every time you open an app, like a native app, it goes to the same place at the beginning, okay? If you have that app open on like on the background and you go to the app again, it will still be in the same place. That's like the same experience. But if you close the app completely, or if you open the app for the first time, then it will always show the same place. So in order to achieve that, we have this start URL configuration that basically allows us to do the same with our web app, okay? If the web app is still running on the background, then for example, let's say we go to like a specific user in our social network, okay? Then if we keep that on the background and we go back to the app, we will still be in the same place, still on that user page. But if we close the app completely and then we open it again, then we will go to this start URL, okay? So in this specific example of voice memo, they have this UTM source web app manifest or whatever. This is basically like a way for the developers of this voice memo app to track that you open this from a web app. But you could just have like a slash in here saying like, I want to go to the root of my application, and that will work all right as well. Then we have all these icons. That's to define basically how the icon for your web app will look like. And this background color theme and whatnot is to set up like the colors that you can see on here on the top or on the bar or stuff like that. So basically how it looks for the user when it's opening, right? Or when it's already open. This orientation is if you have some kind of limit with how the app should look like on any device. So for example, Instagram is a good example of this. If you enable the screen orientation automatic switch on, for example, Android, that when you turn your device horizontal or vertical, it switches automatically, you will notice that Instagram is always vertical, right? They never switch to horizontal. That will be great, but they don't do that. So with this orientation, you can have like portrait, you can have like landscape, or you can have like a combination of the two. I think it's both the other value, but whatever. The thing is, like, in general, it's better to support all kind of orientations, but if you need to support only one, you can do that through this property, okay? Finally, the final requirement that I talked about is this Lighthouse thing. Lighthouse is like one thing that comes with the developer tools in Chrome. I will be showing you this in like a minute. But basically, it like runs a series of audits in your website, and it tells you, for example, if it has good performance, if it's a good enough progressive web app, if it has support for accessibility, so for people that has some kind of difficulty to interact with your website, if you give them proper support, if you are following the best practices for your website, and if you have a good SEO. SEO is basically this value in here. Is if you are easy to find in search engines like, for example, Google, or if you use it, I don't think you do, Bing or stuff like that, okay? But this runs like a lot of audits, and it will not only tell you like this is wrong, but actually it will tell you like this is wrong and how to fix it. So it's pretty great. So the browser support, this is kind of important, right? This is supported pretty much by any popular browser out there. So it's supported by Google Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Microsoft Edge, Samsung Internet, the one that comes with Samsung devices, and Safari, okay? So it's pretty much like unlimited power, because basically you write this code once and it will be accessed by any popular browser out there, right? So if that's not enough, this is also supported by pretty much any popular framework and library out there as well. So if you are working with Vue, React or Preact, Angular, Polymer, Webpack, or even Svelte, they all support progressive web apps. So as I just said, it's unlimited power, right? It's like the power is really on your fingertips. So why is this good for everyone? And yeah, this has like an asterisk, is like not for Android or iOS developers, but like for everyone else. Mainly because like it's less work for developers, so you only do like things once and they will work for mobile, for web, for desktop, for everyone basically. It reduces the cost for clients as well, because let's say you have like a development company and you are doing like web apps, right? So as soon as you say your client that they will need like just to pay for one team that will work on the app, and they will support all the devices they want, and the cost will be the same of just paying for one or maybe 1.5, because you can like actually ask for more money if you are working with this, but they will still pay less and you will gain more, okay? We have a faster delivery of updates. Basically, if for example we find like a really nasty bug that we need to patch, we patch it in one place and that will be fixed everywhere, like on mobile, on desktop, on web, okay? The installs, as you saw, are super easy, because basically the user gets the offer to, hey, do you want to install this? And if they accept, then they can like actually like install it natively without going to any kind of store. So they don't need to go to the Windows Store or the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store. So that's pretty great. The only thing I will say based on this asterisk is, if you are an Android developer or an iOS developer, I think it's like kind of time to start looking at web development, because it will make your lives easier as well, and as web developers as well. And that's why I'm showing this in the Untitled WebDev stream. The idea is to also go in this direction, to try to do your to make your app more native, okay? So yeah. I think that's like the last one. Yeah, so besides the presentation, I wanted to show you how to do this on code, right? Because it's like, yeah, it's like everything is great in like a presentation, but maybe in code is not that easy or not that good, okay? So we have quite a bunch of requirements, but the good thing about this is that if you go to, if you used create React app, the thing that I show you on React's episode, I already created a folder for episode 13, okay? But this is pretty much the same code that we saw on episode 10, in which one we talk about how to create your React app with Create React App. So, basically, if you are, sorry, I just noticed that somebody claimed here. Thanks for this. Hannah. So, as I was saying, we have this is the same code that we had on episode 10, in which one I talk about how to create your React app. This one for episode 13 is exactly the same, but I wanted to have it like separated in order to make the necessary changes in here, okay? So in here, if I check, for example, we have the components I created on previous episodes, like the button and the form and the input and the password input and stuff like that, okay? So this is all the same. I didn't change a thing. If I go to the local host in here, let's close this one. I still have this login in here, and if I test Luke Shiru, and I think I do like 1, 2, 3, 4 login. Luke Shiru log it in. Okay, so this is like the entire app we had so far. So the good thing about Create React App is that it comes with service worker support. So all the the hardest part about creating a web app, creating a progressive web app that is configuring the service worker is already done for us. Okay. You might run into the issue that you don't have this service worker and service worker registration and stuff like that. You might not have that on your project, but a quick Google, like create React app PWA, okay, progressive web app. So the first result, I think it is, yeah. So this one has, if you want to create a progressive web app with just JavaScript or with TypeScript as the one we have, you need to run this command instead of just create template TypeScript as the episode I show you, like the 10th episode. So yeah, if you run this or this, you are basically creating a web app, a progressive web app with React, okay? And the main difference is that they come with this service worker thing. You don't have to touch anything in this file. You can just ignore it altogether and just work with whatever you had previously. So, as you can see, in this line in here, I see if you want your app to work offline, and that's what we want because we want a progressive web app, so it needs to support offline and load faster, you can change unregister to register below. So we have unregister in here, we can do register, okay? This comes with some pitfalls and you can learn more about that in here. So yeah, the thing is, like, as soon as you give your app support for offline, you're basically making, like, saving every change to the user's computer. So for example, you might change some styles in here to make the button, I don't know, red, for example, and that might not be shown to the user. The user maybe will keep on seeing the green button because the local, they have like a local copy of your app, so they don't have like the newest copy of the app. And that could be annoying for you as a developer as well, because maybe you want to see the latest changes and you keep on seeing the previous state of your app. So while you are working, it's better to have this on unregister. But when you are thinking about publishing this, then you need to turn this to register. Okay, you can do it this way, or you can do it like in a cleaner way. You can just import register in here and just do register as a function. Okay. So this will make your app support offline, basically, okay? So we have this in here, and let's think what else I need. I think we don't need anything else. Yeah, just switch this to register, and now I need to actually build my app to basically make this app not just run on local, but actually be an app that can be used by users, okay? So what I need to do is, like, if we check in here in the package.json, you have these scripts. So you have start, the one that we constantly use to actually test the app and see how it looks, but we actually also have build, okay? So build will build the app for us. So if we do npm run build in here, it will take like a second or so because it needs to take all the code and compile it and put it into one place, okay? But let's just be patient in here. So creating an optimized production build, okay? So let's wait for a second. There. So this basically let us know what was generated, okay? So it generated some JavaScript, some CSS, everything is separated. And if you want to actually test this, you can do npm install gserve. I already did that. And then we do serve as build. So this will basically, this is saying like I want to create a server in which I will be showing the content of the build directory, this folder that was created, okay? So if we run this and go to this, let's refresh this for a second. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I already installed this, so I can show you the actual thing. Maybe with, yeah, I will show you because I wanted to show you this. Oh, shit. So my website, my personal website is also a progressive web app, but I wanted to show you like one quick thing about this, like the actual flow in Windows or like on Mac or on Linux. You can see that in here on the top, it's shown like an install for a second and this plus sign, okay? When I click on this, it will see like install app and the name, okay? So I want to install Luxio. I don't think you want to install this, but it's just to show you the example, okay? So if I click on install in here, it will take like a second, and then as you can see, now my app is a native app, okay? So I have like the black top and everything, and like it behaves like a native app. To the point that if I go to the menu for apps and I look for the name of my app, it shows like another app in the system, like one that I have installed, like for example, like I don't know, like the calculator or something like that. But if I put look in here, I see my web app, okay? So if I click in this, it will open my web app, okay? So that same flow happens in here with the login. As soon as we make it a progressive web app, I can see it because of the Untitled WebDev log. Ah, sorry about that. Let's see if I can remove this for a second. There. So, thanks for letting me know. What other? Oh, let's look for voice memos PWA. Let's see if that's still on existence on some play. Maybe here. Launch app. Oh, it's not live anymore. Okay. Twitter is another one. Twitter.com. But I'm not logging in here. So let's. Okay, here. Now I shouldn't be like hiding it behind the logo. Okay. So in here on the top, every time you like load something, so let's go to like the website from the scratch again. So twitter.com, okay? Look here. In here on the top, pay attention to here. It's like you can see that plus symbol, okay? Sometimes by itself, it will show you like the install text just at the right of the icon. But this is letting me know that I can install it, okay? So now, if I click on here, I see like Twitter in here. Again, I can press on install. It will take a second. And now I have installed Twitter, like the Twitter app, on my system. So again, as I show you, if I go to like the start menu here and I press like Twitter, I can see the Twitter app and I can click on it and it will open like a native app, but it's actually web app. It's like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, okay? So that's like a really nice experience in general, right? We can achieve the same with ours. Now I can continue, sorry about that. So we have this login form and now it's running on localhost 5000, okay? So I already installed this, so if I click on here, I can open it. And I see that it's called React app because I didn't change anything about it. So if I look for it, React, you can see that it has the React logo because I didn't change anything about the configuration. I just like make it a progressive web app and build it, okay? If you want to actually change how the icon looks like or how the title of the app is or stuff like that, you need to let's go to here. You need to go to the public folder you have on your project in React. And in here, you can see that we have this Manifesto.json. I already talked to you about this, okay? This Manifesto.json, okay? So in here, you have the short name. So for example, in here, we could have like login as the short name. The name could be login web app example or something like that. And in here we have the icons. So these icons in here are the ones that are in here. So for example, we have the logo for React and this other logo in here. I could go ahead and just use the Untitled WebDev stream logo or something like that. I don't want to make that change right now because I need to go to the editor, save the file to a PNG and then save it in here. But basically, you just need to replace these two images with whatever images you want to use as an icon, okay? Finally, we have in here that this will display as a standalone app, so it will show it without the navigation bar or anything like that. It's just like an entire app. And the theme color and stuff like that is just to define the colors for the border and stuff like that. So if we check this, nope, this is not the one, 5000, and we open it. So the border is not affected in Linux, but in Windows and I think in Mac currently as well. This border, like the black border that we have in here, will change depending on the theme color and the background color you set in here. So they sometimes have an algorithm to combine the two, but the theme color is the main one. So in here, maybe if I use, let's say like, I don't know, blue, so RGB, so the theme color is now blue, and login, yeah, so I changed everything in that app. Let's see if I can make it work. So once I change the settings in here, I need to rebuild it. So toggle integrated terminal in here. Let's cut the execution. Takes like a second or so. Okay, so let's run npm run build again. Okay, now we should be able to do like a serve again with sbuild. Go to the browser. I don't have a browser open anymore. There we go. And do a localhost 5000. Okay. Now, the problem with this is that in here, if we go to the actual application information. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you this. So let's start from the beginning. If we do inspect in here, we will be opening the developer tools. I already showed this like a thousand times. But in here on the top we have, for example, the elements, the console, stuff like that I already showed you, but I think I never show you this. This one called application has all the information regarding your web app, okay? So as you can see here now, I have name, login, web app example, I have the short name login, I have the theme with the blue that I set and stuff like that, okay? And I even have like a little display of the different icons. So if I open this as a web app, it will still be shown as a create React app example, and that's I remember correctly, is because we still have the previous version saved, okay? So we want the new one. You can like pretty much solve this by going to clear storage in here, and you can do like clear site data. That will be basically wipe out everything related to your website. So we can go to service workers in here, and as I mentioned, the service worker is the script that makes offline work basically. So we can click on unregister in here or update or whatever, and this was deleted already because it's the previous one, but you have control over that. So for example, if you want to actually make sure that you have the latest version, generally the best approach is to do clear storage first, then go in here and maybe update or unregister. Update is the better approach, but maybe unregister the service worker, so that will load the service worker again. And once that's done, while you keep the developer tools open, you will have the option to do like a context menu over the reload in here, and you have empty cache and hard reload, okay? So if we do that, as you can see now, we have a new service worker that is running, and the storage is now full again with all the new information, okay? So with some luck, maybe I need to install it and reinstall it. Yeah, I might need to do that. Yep, because it's already installed on Linux. Okay, so let's do React. And do I have a way of deleting this? I don't. Lol. Okay, so this is far easier to replicate on macOS and on Windows. In here, I don't know. I think it's because of Manjaro, of the distribution I currently have of Linux. But yeah. Sorry, I can't give you like a better example for that, but yeah, basically you need to remove this app from your installed apps. This is like in mobile, is also super easy to do. It's just like uninstall it like any other native app, and once you do that, you need to just install it again, and it will have the new information. That's only if you want to save the changes right now. If not, after a while, like I think it takes like 1 day or so, the user will see the new icon and the new title, because let's say for example that you have like a social media social network of yours, and you want to have like a special icon and a special title for, let's say, I don't know, Halloween or Christmas or something like that. You need to have control over your icon and over your title. So basically the users see that reflected after a while. It's not like immediate, because it's like a kind of like a security measure to avoid like developers exploiting this feature and making, I don't know, updating the icon every 30 seconds or something like that. Okay, so I don't know if we have something else in here. Let's check just in case. No, this is episode 10. Let's go to episode 13. So yeah, basically everything you need to do in order to make your React app a progressive web app is just to put this register in here and basically update this with the information of your app, and that basically turns your app into a progressive web app. Let's see if I can, I don't know if I will be able to show you directly, but let's see. I want to check if I can install this app on my Android device in here. So it's 00 and port 5000. Okay, and then add to home screen. Yeah. So because I don't know if it will be able to show you. Let's switch to scenes camera in here. Let's see how good that looks. Really awful, but okay. I went to the actual IP I have on local and went to the app, and the app is not showing the bar at the bottom offering the user to install it. In this case, the user is me, myself, right? And that's because I'm running this on localhost, so I don't have this on HTTPS, okay? So it's not secure. When it's not secure, the user will never see the prompt offering to install the app. But I can still test it by just going to the menu that I have on top on Chrome and doing add to home screen, okay? So as soon as I do that, I see this dialog that says add to home screen, and now I see the correct title, the login title, okay? So I can just go ahead and press add, and that will add it to my apps as a web app, okay? So you can test it on your own devices if you want, but what I wanted to show you is that because I changed the name in here on the Manifesto JSON to match the new name I want, the login name, that's the name that's offered to me on any other device that doesn't have like an already installed instance of the app as this one, okay? So I think we can maybe test it by changing the port. Let's see. Maybe if I do port 1001, let's try that out. I think that might work. Okay, so now the install shown for like a second, and if I do install in here, login web app example, install app. So yeah, install it, and now I have the app installed. In here on top, I see React app because that's the HTML title that I have, okay? But if I look for the app in the start menu and I do like login in here, login web app. So now if I click on this, it takes me to like a new instance of the same app, okay? But yeah, it behaves exactly the same as the web app, with the small difference that is actually installed in the system, okay? So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. It's like quite like a really powerful yet kind of simple thing to implement on your websites or your web apps, and they will make like users experience better and your developer experience better as well, because basically you are just writing one code base and you have like you are giving support to any kind of device, like mobile devices, browser devices, and stuff like that. And even discoverability is better, because basically if you have like let's say you create a new social network of sorts or something like that, like the Untitled social media, you don't need to tell the people about it, like, yeah, you need to go to the store and install the thing and stuff like that. You don't have to install anything. Just go to, I don't know, like untitledsocialmedia.com, or not that, just like Google Untitled social media, right? Like Google it. The first result generally will be like the website itself, and the users are able to just go to the website and try the app without installing it, like, let's say how it works and if it's good for me or whatever, and then they can keep on using the website and just stick to that because maybe they like that experience. But they also have the option, like all the time, to install it as a local app, for example, into their devices or into like their computers, and use it as a native app with notifications, with access to devices and stuff like that. So this is quite powerful and it's quite useful. So that's why I wanted to like just show it to you, because if you are like maybe following this and trying to create your own app, I hope this series of streams are that useful. I don't think so, but maybe it does for somebody out there. Then this feature will make your web app far better, both for users and for you as a developer, okay? So yeah, let's switch to the camera in 1 second. The next episode, if I remember correctly, what was like I tweet about it and I forgot already. Let's look it up. Search look yeah, I will be publishing the next episode soon, and I'm sorry about that. I had like planned what I wanted to like have in the next episode, but I can't find the things. I recently changed my like the setup I have right now for the stream from Ubuntu Linux to Manjaro, and it came with some problems, like maybe deleting by accident the list of streams I had planned. Yeah, I'm not proud about it, but the thing is, like, as soon as I can find like the backup I have lying around on some place, I will be publishing that on Twitter for the next episode. But for this one, I think we are quite done. It's just like I just wanted to show you that feature and just use it for you to use it. Sorry. Also, before I forget, in chat you have the class command I just ran with the link to the Google Classroom, but also I will be publishing that same link down below on YouTube as soon as it's published on YouTube. That classroom has already the list of the previous streams and some materials together with that, like for example documentation or frameworks and stuff like that, and some exercises for you to practice everything I'm talking about in every episode. So together with today's stream, I will be adding like a class, like a new section in the classroom with the progressive web app example, with this video, with the presentation, and basically the exercise will be something like take the web app that you are creating and turn it into a progressive web app. Okay. But yeah, sorry, I forgot about like what's coming in the next episode, but I will be publishing like in, I don't know, the following 15 minutes or so. So if you want to know about that, you can go to my website, in which I have links for all my social media. In there you will find my Twitter, that is also Luxiru, like always. I use that username everywhere. So if you go to Twitter, like in the next 50 minutes or so, I will be publishing the next episode content, and also in like, I don't know, in a few hours or so when it's done, I will be publishing this same stream on YouTube. So yeah, without anything else, that's pretty much it. Thank you a lot everyone for watching, and I see you next time.